Hey there, we are live on Facebook. I'm here with BobMortgage, and we decided to just get together, you guys, and talk this thing through. We both know that we've faced a lot of changes recently with everything that's going on in our world, and how it's impacted our industry. So we're here to just talk through that. I'm so happy to have Bob on, so that we can talk from the mortgage perspective as well as the real estate perspective. So feel free to ask us some questions in the comments, and we'll be happy to answer them. But Bob, anything you want to kick us off with?
Yeah, well, no, I appreciate you, Tierny, having me on. Guys, from Jennifer and I, my family, man, we just have everybody in our thoughts and prayers as we continue to move through this. We will obviously all get through this. We're very blessed today to be able to have a moment to chat with you. There's a lot of things I could talk about from a mindset perspective. I'm sure Tierny will get into that in a little bit because, we do have to focus on the things that are going to continue to move us forward. There's a lot of things that can do that, and it's all up here. So let's go. I mean, you take it wherever you want to take it. I'll be happy to go with the mortgage side or real estate or mindset side.
Yeah, I know we're still closing a lot of transactions here in DFW. I looked at the numbers about a week ago, and we were down about 18%, but there's still a huge opportunity. There's still a lot of people that want to be helped. So from your perspective, what changes have you seen, and what's still available to people? I know that's been a huge question, just that we get on the phone with people. They're feeling like there isn't, like, the restrictions have tightened up. So what does it look like from your perspective?
Yeah, it's a great question, Tierny. I mean, we did, this isn't 2008, 2009 as it relates to how we're going to handle the mortgage side of it. We're not in the subprime world. We as lending companies have for the most part, learned a lot of those lessons, and we've been responsible within the lending practices that we put out there. Now, that being said, there were different types of loans available at a 530, 580 credit score, and when this happened, we started to see some changes very, very quickly with credit policies. Lenders did make some adjustments, notably if you listen to or see what you read online about, Chase banks or the big banks, they did make some big adjustments. They went to 700 credit scores and, said, yeah, you got to put 20% down. And that's just not the case as it was back then. It's not the case now with lending institutions like myself, where we did pivot quickly. We said, okay, no more 580s on a lot of these types of loans, and we moved up to a 640, 660 type credit score, but then relaxed very quickly after that and said, for FHA, VA, USDA, let's look at this and say, let's adjust to a 620. Let's go to a 620 credit score and let's provide good sense credit underwriting guidelines, meaning, let's look at the credit itself and not just the score, right? Because the credit will tell a different story sometimes than the score does. And what I mean by that is if you look at, let's say, all your creditors on one side, and up top you do a matrix, and here's all the months and years over here. And you put an X where there is something that happened, like a late payment, or it turned into a collection or a charge off. You put an X where that happened. And you draw a line where everything is safe, right? Everything's been paid on time. Well, what you may find when you do that credit analysis is you're either finding a bunch of X's all the way through, or you're finding X's to one point and then it's all clean in one area. And that's what we're looking for, because that cleanness tells us it was an isolated incident, and then just the X's appeared in one section. And then so we can explain what happened, what we did to fix it, and then why it's not going to happen again, right? So that's where the credit was going to tell a story different than the score. But if you're getting into an analysis and you see a bunch of X's all the way through, then you know that there's a pattern that's developed, and we need to be able to find out a different way to modify that score, right, and modify that credit analysis. Well, you're seeing all my this is live television, right? So now you see all my phone calls coming in. But what we looked at was we could still make those loans and be really good at making those loans. We just need to be really solid and be able to show clients that, look, this is how we're going to be lending now while we go through this period of time, but not adjust and overreact to something that's like a 700 like the big banks do.
Gotcha. So how long do you feel like this all is going to go on? Is this our new normal, or do you think
it's our new normal for the next 30, 45, 60 days until we know what is truly our full exposure? Because when you look at it from a first-time homebuyer perspective, and those are people that are looking for 3 to 3.5% down, typically is what we've been looking at. 50% of those individuals are coming into the marketplace to buy with a credit score somewhere between 640 and 660. And you can't just shut that type of lending down, but you have to make sure that, one, do they have a month or two worth of reserves? Are they in a good job that's stable? How about their payment shock? Are they going from like $1,500 rent to trying to have a mortgage payment of $5,000? I mean, that could take a big toll on a family. And what we just want to make sure that they're not taking on more than they can handle. But I think it's a new norm until we know what the other end of this looks like. When can we come out of this stay at home? When can we get back to work? And when are employers going to start hiring?
Gotcha. So have you seen a lot of deals falling out lately because of employment, or what are you seeing on your end?
Yeah, so in the very beginning, when all this happened, we did see some pullback on the purchase side, right? We saw some people pull back and pause and say they want to test this out as they understand a little bit more about, what is this pandemic that we're in, but also how is it going to impact their job. They just wanted to pause. So we did see an initial pullback. But I'm telling you, man, there's so many buyers out there that understand this is still a great time to buy. I mean, you look at interest rates, right? They're incredibly low. I mean, just 18 months ago, we're sitting at 4.75. Today, we're getting interest rates that could be in the high 2s to low 3s.
Wow.
Depending on what the consumer's wanting on their loan, on their interest rates, what their credit scores are. But I mean, they're getting some amazing low interest rates. They're starting to realize, what, that rate, whether it's 2.99, it's 3.5, is a whole lot lower than the interest rate that I pay when I'm renting, which is 100%. They get it in the fact that, look, appreciation. We've been trending in the Collin County or in the DFW, when you look at the whole Metroplex as a whole, about 4.22% on home price appreciation. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now we're forecasting out it's going to be a little bit different because of what we're going through right now. It's still going to be up 2.56% is what we projected over the next couple of years. Now we may take a little bit of a setback and only appreciate 1.5% in this upcoming year. But know that that's still appreciation. We're not talking negative, right? We're not talking anything negative. We're still adding to one's value of their home. So the buyers that are really smart are seeing, what? It's still a great time to buy. We're going to get low interest rates. We're still going to get maybe even a better deal because some sellers are willing to negotiate because they need to sell now, that they're getting a better overall ownership cost over the period of time they're going to keep it. I just still think it's a great time, and buyers are really realizing that.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. We're seeing it on both sides. Like for the sellers, we're seeing the highly motivated being, out in the marketplace right now. So like you said, there's sellers that want to sell,
Right.
And there's buyers, we're seeing a little bit of a seller's market in the sense of there's not a ton of inventory, because some people have pulled back a little, but these sellers are willing, to do what it takes to get the houses sold. So I think it's a win-win on both sides.
It is, and the seller realizes, the seller realizes that the buyers, and you see it's the buyers that are in the market buying today, they're good buyers. They're motivated buyers. They're good credit buyers because, hey, it's pivoted a little bit, right? We talked a little bit about the credit policy changing. So these buyers are qualified buyers. So they know that they got a real deal on their hands when they get an offer submitted.
Yeah, and what we're doing as a team is we're making sure that we're taking safety. Safety is number one for us. So we've totally revamped our whole process and made it virtual. So really, we're getting a full 360 view of the home. We're getting all the information up front. I think this process made us all be a lot more efficient than we were before, So we probably should have been doing this before, but the market was so hot and people get so excited to go see a home, So we would just have a show, but now, we're gathering all the information. We're making sure that they're seeing the home virtually, that they drive by, look at it, make sure they love the neighborhood. We're getting a list of all of the updates. We're getting the seller's disclosure, the survey, all of the room dimensions. We'll even set up a live Zoom or a live FaceTime call. We like to do Zoom because we can get everybody on there, both agents and both parties, and just allow the seller to walk through and answer any questions that the buyer might have. And then once we get in a position where we have a buyer who's like, you know what, this is the one. I've seen all the information. I've looked at it virtually. I've driven by the home on the outside and saw the neighborhood. We're arranging for the seller to turn on all the lights, open up the closet doors, open up some cabinets, so really they don't have to touch a whole bunch. And then we'll provide masks and gloves. If somebody doesn't have masks and gloves to go into the home, we'll provide that. So we're just seeing, I think this makes everything that we do a lot more efficient. And we probably should have incorporated these things a long time ago because this isn't the first time we've dealt with sickness or flu-like stuff, So I think it's making us all be a lot more efficient.
I agree.
Oh, go ahead, Bob.
No, I agree with that. I mean, I think as an industry, financial services industry, real estate industry, I mean, we've all learned how to pivot. That's something that we've done really well as an industry is pivot over every cycle, every downturn, every uptick, right? I mean, we have to pivot to handle volume. So I think we're very fluid as an industry, and it's a testament to what you guys do as a team and how you guys really adjusted very quickly to make sure that a home is a necessity, shelter. I mean, it's something that we can't do without. And, I'm thankful to work with people like you and your team that can transition that quickly and still service those that need our help, but still at the same time remain safe, because that ultimately, we can't help anybody unless we help ourselves, and we have to be safe first, and then that way we can help others.
Sure. Now, I know you had some questions. We just decided to broadcast on my channel, but what questions did you have already? Or what else did you share?
Well, right now, I do get a lot of stuff, and I know we talked about a little bit, you mentioned unemployment, right? And how does that, what do we see coming, and how can that maybe impact some of the future buying? And we do think that, some of the unemployment that's going to hit us because, before COVID-19, the labor force is 160 million. Before COVID-19, we were running 3.5% unemployment, right? Which is very low. So that's about 5.5 million unemployed people. Well, the reality is, in the last several weeks, since all this has been going on, we took on about 22 million, plus people that initially filed for unemployment claims. So we're sitting at about 17% unemployment right now at about 27 million people, right? I mean, we're going to hit 20%, right? I mean, we're going to hit a 20% unemployment rate. I mean, that's going to be large. And the thing, though, what we're looking at, and you got to look for the silver linings in a lot of these types of things, is we were only at like 5.25 million unemployment claims filed last week, or the previous week, we're at like 6.6. So while 5.5 is a lot, it's still less than 6.6. So we declined a little bit, and we are trending for that same type of pattern where a lot of the claims could come in less, which would speak to maybe we hit a big peak and now we're trending down. Still going to put us at that 20% unemployment rate, but we're hoping to see a stabilization there. And then how does that carry forward? The quicker we obviously get back to being able to go to work and get back to working as a society, then we feel like it'll have a less of a drag and impact on, one, foreclosures, and two, one's ability to qualify for a home loan very quickly after they get back to work. Because if we're looking at any type of prolonged unemployment for an individual, 6 months of unemployment, I mean, you're going to need 6 months on the job before we're going to consider that stable work environment, stable work history, for then you to be able to qualify. So that could put some people out a year.
Wow. So if somebody is laid off for like 3 months or 4 months, how does that work? Like,
yeah, it depends on the type of loan. Yeah, it depends on the type of loan that we're going to do. If it's 3 to 4 months and they get back to work and they're in the same field and salaried position, hourly position, I mean, there's a good chance within just 30 days we're going to be fine because we'll have 2 pay stubs or 4 pay stubs. Depends on how they get paid to qualify them. But if it's 6 months or longer, then it's going to be a 6 month requirement.
Gotcha. What else? What else do you think we need to inform our followers of? That unemployment was great. Thank you for providing that information. I didn't have those exact statistics, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, I think the big thing, guys, is going back to, should you buy or should you rent? When you rent, you do not get appreciation and you do not get forced savings. What I mean by that is, like I said, appreciation. If we're projecting, let's say, a 2.5% to 3% appreciation rate, that is free money that you're going to realize when you sell that home, right? So you're getting more value over time because of that. And at the same time, when you make a rent payment, you don't get any of that forced savings, meaning the principal reduction. So when you do that, you're still going to pick up a significant amount of money when you buy. So you're looking at a $300,000 home. I mean, there's a good chance over a 9-year period or 7-year period, you're going to pick up $60,000-$70,000 in just overall positivity when it comes to the appreciation and the forced savings, even after you count the delta in what you would be paying in rent versus the mortgage payment, and then whatever other costs you had when you sell the house. I mean, it's still $60,000-$70,000 of true savings. So it does make sense. And if you're out there thinking about it, it definitely makes a prudent, wise decision to explore it. Contact me from a mortgage standpoint. You can go to BobMortgage.com, build a profile, schedule a meeting with me. We can have a quick Zoom chat, and we can start determining what your options are, what your qualifications look like. That way you can get with Tierny and the team and get out there and see what opportunities, what deals are out there to be had for you to be able to buy today.
Yeah, and we can show you everything virtually. That's our first step, is to sit down and look at everything. Most of the stuff, we create a single property website that has everything included on that website, so we'll view it together. It'll have all the video, it'll have all the pictures, it'll have a complete property description, the school district ratings and information. We'll be able to pull a mortgage calculator so you can kind of see around about what your payment would be. We'll have a map view, a street view, and a bird's eye view. We have all that in one place. So that's how we're doing our appointments. And, I bought my first house, I think I was either 20 or 21. And in my mind, it was a good investment because I still own that home today. And I've made a lot of money, so it turned into a rental for me. But I always saw value in putting my money in the dirt, because my money was safe in the dirt. And now somebody's paying, and I'm receiving income off of that same property. So there's so much opportunity. If you have questions, you don't have to be like set. You don't have to have all the answers and know that this is what you want to do right now. But if it's something that you're thinking about, and if you don't own a home and you're paying for somebody else's investment, now is a great time. I mean, Bob said the rates are between in the 2s and 3s. So that means you're spending less money in interest. It's cheaper to borrow money right now, opposed to if you waited like a year and say those rates go up to 5.5 or 6%, you're getting less home. You're paying more in interest to borrow that money. So you don't have to have everything all planned out and figured out. That's what we're here for. We're here to lead you and guide you. And there's no pressure. We're professionals, and we're going to provide the information so that you can make the best decision for you and your family. So if you have questions, you can reach out to either one of us. Realtors, if you're out there and you're not sure how to keep your business going, if you have questions about what our virtual process looks like, what things like how did we create these single property websites, what do the Zoom calls look like that we do, just feel free to reach out. I'll be happy to show you what we're doing. We want to keep our industry thriving. So we want to continue to have showings and listings and mortgages, going on. So we're here to help. I don't know if you had anything else, Bob, that you wanted to pick my brain on.
Well, I mean, the big thing, and that's some of the stuff that you addressed. I mean, because that was so important to me is you guys have pivoted really quickly, and while you already run a virtual company, you even had to go deeper. So for some of those agents that they're not already in a virtual environment, they've just dipped their toe in the water basically, and you guys have fully jumped in. So I mean, I know that there's a lot of stuff that you could probably help a lot of agents on when they move to this type of platform. And I know you're willing to share all that. So
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is we have had to pivot. I think right now it's even more important to focus on your brand, being able to keep putting content out there that draws attention to your brand, because there's so much noise out there, and it's just not even the noise of the competitors per se. It's the noise that we have to fight with regard to, COVID-19, the administration, what's the government doing, what are they not doing? I mean, there's a lot of talk, even while people's attention is drawn to social media. So you got to keep fighting and keep putting stuff out there that is going to promote your brand and educate people and get them closer to their desire of either buying or selling. So you got to stay creative. You got to keep your focus high. Got to keep your energy high. I mean, there's a lot of things that I focus on. I focus on gratitude. My feet hit the floor, my eyes opened. I mean, I'm pretty happy, about that kind of stuff, and feel very blessed about it. So, I don't want to give anything away. I just want to keep working as hard as I can every day.
Yeah, and our team is committed to being available. We are working still, even though we're not in our office anymore. Right. We connect on Zoom with each other just to hold each other accountable, and we're reaching out. We're still marketing, so we're seeing a lot of activity online and a lot of people reaching out and getting information. So we're making calls from 8:30 to 12:30. We take a break from 12:30 to 4:30, and then we jump back on. And we're staying proactive and reaching out. So I would encourage everyone, Yeah,
you guys are talking to a lot of people, because I know my calendar gets booked with people to talk to that are interested in financing. I mean, you guys you're finding there's a lot of buyers out there, but you got to work it, and you guys have a system. And it's pretty proven. I mean, I feel it on this side, which I'm very grateful for you guys for, and it's nice to see a team and a process and a system that works as hard as you guys do.
Yeah, at the end of the day, and we had this conversation with the team earlier, we're professionals. This is what we do full time, So we're here for you. We're here for the clients that are looking to purchase a home. We're here for clients that are looking to sell. We're going to make sure that we do our due diligence and make sure that every interested buyer sees our listings. We're also going to scour the market for buyers to make sure they know about houses that may not even be listed on the market.
Yeah.
So just making sure that everybody's aware and we stay at it.
Awesome. Well, I really do appreciate you having me on. And I mean, there's a lot of stuff that
this was your idea, so I appreciate you.
I know.
To put it on mine at I think Jen suggested it, so I'm like, sure, let's roll with it.
Well, what's important is just getting as much information out there as possible, because some people just don't know. I mean, even they think still about forbearance. I mean, forbearance is not a freebie. I mean, you got to pay it back. So it's important for people to really understand what that is, and it's not just talking about it one time. It's talking about it over and over and over again, because there may be one person on this live stream or watches it in replay that didn't hear it the way it needed to be delivered, and now it resonates well with them. So guys, if you have a $2,000 payment and you ask for 6 months forbearance, that's $12,000. On the 7th month, you're going to owe $14,000. 12,000 plus your 2,000, you're going to owe that money. So you better figure out how you're going to have to pay it back. And that's not through me. It's not through Tierny. It's through your servicer. You got to call your servicer, find out what their repayment plan is going to look like when you ask for forbearance. Are they going to add it to your back end of your loan and only have it paid off when it's refied or sold? Are they going to spread it out over 12 months or 24 months? Your $12,000 and all of a sudden you have $1,000 or $600 increase in monthly payments? Or are they going to want it up front one time? You need to know that. Forbearance is a good thing for the people that need it, that really, truly need it. But don't just think it's a freebie and go get it and then all of a sudden realize, holy crap, I got to pay this back and I don't have it. That's when it's going to impact your credit in a negative place, right? That's when, it's going to hurt. So there's other ways around doing it. You can refinance. We can lower the monthly payment. We can pull cash out and pay off other consumer debt to lower your outgoing cash flow. There's other ways to look at reducing your overall cash outflow than just asking for forbearance.
And I appreciate you for bringing that up, because I don't think a lot of people realize that. I mean,
Yeah.
We talked to several people who didn't know. They thought it was just going to be forgiven, So I'm glad that you brought that up. And I'll say this, one of the reasons we partner with you and your group is because you're creative. So you look for solutions for people, and like you mentioned, we can figure out it might not be with the mortgage, but maybe we can lower your other debt, so your total outgoing expenses are lowered, So that's one thing I can attest that you guys do really, really well. And that's figuring out solutions and coming up with a solution to the problem.
Yeah. I mean, it's always the challenge that we look at it that way. So, it's not a one size fits all type scenario. I mean, it just really isn't. That's why technology can't do everything that we both do, right? I mean, you have to think outside the box. You have to listen, ask good questions, and then, put something together that whether gets them exactly where they want to be, further than what they want to be, or almost there. It's just providing people some type of solution to their challenge, and then making sure they understand the path that they're taking so that they know that it is the best thing for them, given the period of time that they're going to keep the house, short-term, long-term, whatever it is. So it's just in how we deliver that communication.
What does the down payment assistance look like right now?
Great question. Okay, so the down payment assistance is still available. I mean, there's a couple of them that are out there. So you have TSHAC, TDHCA, Seth 5-star, and Seth Gold Star. Those are the four that were out there before COVID-19 pandemic. There's still the four that are in play today. They just have changed a little bit. So they modified some of their assistance that they're giving. They modified some of their credit scores that are required. So like for Seth 5-star and Seth Gold Star, they had a 600 credit score that they were giving, but they raised it to 680. Okay, so they did a pivot. They did one of those reactionary pivots that increased it pretty high. So that's that. Now we're starting to see more that was going to Seth, more of it shift over to TSHAC and TDHCA, because they're still in that 620 to 640 category. But I have a client right now. We're doing a 5% grant from T-Shack. So they're getting 5%. So $200,000, guys, put that in perspective. That's $10,000 that you're going to get to cover some of the down payment and the closing costs. Okay, that's going to cover a big part of that, right? And the interest rate on that is 4.375% right now. I mean, it's a low interest rate on a grant program that's going to give you $10,000. Now, it's a forgivable second lien, so which means if you stay in your house for a certain number of years, then they're going to forgive all of that money that you owe, that $10,000. But if you sell your house, let's say in the first year, then you're going to owe that back, and it's just going to be taken out of the equity when you sell your home. So it's not a true free money. In that you still have to pay it back if let's say you live in it for less than 3 years, but over 3 years, then it's truly, you don't have to pay that money back, and it's only at a 4.375% rate.
Wow.
Yeah,
awesome.
I mean they have a great program right now.
Is there anything else that you can think of in terms of any tools that a lot of people aren't aware of when it comes to the financing piece besides down payment assistance? Because I think a lot of people thought that went away. Is there anything else that you can think of that's out there that's available to people?
Well, for our veterans, I mean, still no money down for our veterans. I mean, that's we should give homes away to our veterans, but VA has a loan process, and they're going to be a little bit of interest in that, but it's no money down. For my lender fees, I waive those lender fees. And then, it's very minimal out of pocket expense. And depending on their percentage of disability, if they have that, then there's an opportunity for the VA funding fee to be waived and exemption from property taxes. So, I mean, it's still a great program that's out there. USDA in those out-of-lying areas still can go with a no money down, zero down payment program. FHA still doing the 3.5% down, and conventional still doing 3%. It's just adjusted the credit scores from 580 to 620. So nothing too terrible. I mean, significant changes. It's not like everybody went to, what the big banks did and go up to 700 credit scores and 20% down. That's just not the space that we play in, and we don't play in that with our first-time homebuyers, especially.
Right. Well, awesome. I'm out of questions. I'm grateful for the information that you provided. Anything else that you can think of from me, Bob?
No, I mean, I think the big thing was what I wanted you to be able to talk about was those things that you absolutely addressed. That one, that business is still going. Right. Two, that you're seeing sellers and buyers still being very active out there. And, those that are not buying today, it's still prudent, right? We would say to talk today to still you guys to find out, if they're not buying right now, how does that look like in the market in 2, 3, 4, 5 months? It's still good to have those conversations because you're going to connect them to the people that, ultimately can get them one step closer to homeownership and make sure they're on the right path. Yeah. I mean, that was important. That was important for me to make sure you addressed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so last month it was 21 transactions for our team. And this month, I think we're close. I know we're coming to the end of the month, but we're close to about 15 so far. So there's still opportunity out there if you're an agent and wondering. Definitely take the time to figure out how to get in front of people so you can help. And if you want to reach out to me, you can message me directly on Facebook. I'm on Instagram as well. And I think Bob's information's been, both of our information has been scrolling at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, you can get to us. It's easy. Brandon's not going to let any of our data be misplaced. So if you need us, you can reach out to us, obviously via any of our social handles, but our emails, phone numbers, places to text are going to be there. But no, I thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for sharing. You're always that person, so I knew that wasn't going to be a difficult ask for you to share with what's going on in your world, what would help other agents. Obviously, that they will. They're always going to be attracted to successful people. So if you guys have any questions, reach out to Tierny. She's an amazing individual. Not just skip their agent part, just the individual. because she is a giving individual and will help regardless of your brokerage or whether you're buying today or tomorrow. So it's always good to be around you, Tierny. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. You too. Thanks so much, Bob.
All right, take care.
You too.
Stay safe.